Hi everyone, it's Margaret here with 60 and Me, and I hope that you're doing well today. I'm doing something really boring today, just staying home. I'm just doing some knitting. That's what old people do. We haven't got any friends. I mean, we don't get out very much anymore, really. We just stay in. Nothing too exciting. We're not working anymore. Family's not that close, but it's kind of boring, but lots of knitting to do. We're not very attractive. We're not considered relevant in the world. Okay, I am knitting, but the point of this whole video is that we are considered boring by some people. This is what they think we do. This is old people. We're sitting here knitting away, doing nothing exciting with our lives, but we are. But this whole question about, are old people boring, sort of by this definition, or is it just that we got other things that we do? I mean, we're just not kind of into the same kind of activity that we might have had when we were younger. Anyway, I'm going to talk today about why are older people considered boring. And, is it culture or is it the truth? Are we boring? I think there's a story here to be told. So anyway, the thing is, boredom is one thing that is almost built into our brain. Our brains are actually pretty boring, and they're that for a reason. It's to protect us. It's to keep us safe. So they put the brain puts a lot of things that we do every single day into some pattern, into some routine. And it does that so that we won't have to worry about them ourselves, for one thing, and automates a lot of the processes. And there's like 35,000 decisions that we make in an average day that we don't even really know about. Our brain is constantly triggering the response to things that our body does automatically to protect us. So in that sense, the brain is very boring by nature. And the actions that we do in our lives are driven by thoughts. So our thoughts, sometimes can be very self-contained. So look where you're sitting right now. I'm sitting. You're probably sitting on a sofa or in a chair. Maybe you're walking and listening to this, but most people are sitting and being very sedentary. It's kind of the way of our lives right now. We are sedentary beings, and we do repeat habits, in a way that keeps us safe and keeps us predictable. So we got stuck in our habits as we get older. I mean, I've got to admit that I'm like this too. Like when I wake up in the morning, I do certain things ritualistically. I actually, first I plug in my phone. I check my mail. I look for, I go make a cup of tea. Sometimes I have something to nibble with the tea, or a certain cup of coffee. There's just rituals that we do. Maybe you go for a walk, or if you have a pet, you take the pet for a walk. It's a rhythm. It's a repetitive rhythm that basically gives us, maybe on Monday we do our washing, or Tuesday we do a trip into town to buy groceries, or whatever. I mean, you know your own habits and your own routines, but they are considered to some people boring, and that's actually not a bad thing, because it keeps us safe. But we in a way are confined a little bit by comfort. We know how to get ourselves cozy and comfy, and I have around bedtime I get my hot water bottle. Yes, I do. I know I'm embarrassed, but it's true. And I love being warm, so I snuggle up and I have warm pajamas. And that's kind of my, my way that I get ready for sleep. And we're actually calmed and, inspired by comfort. We do things that make us feel good. Now, when you're younger, I think your brain is craving new experiences. And you probably had a lot of those experiences, in 60 years of your life. So the brain is kind of, in a way, running out of ideas. We've got to help our brain to start to crave new experiences and new opportunities, to create new neural pathways in our brain that lead us to something different. And a lot of times people in the past have written about the brain, and how as you get older, it doesn't create new neural pathways, new rhythms, new patterns of behavior. But they found now with studies, different places all over the place, that it's true. Now, this article, by the way, there is online in our 60Me website, so you can read a bit more detail about these brain studies, because they're really quite fascinating, that we actually can now do things with our brain that we didn't think we could in the past. So boring is an interesting concept in general anyway, and it's certainly not just exclusive to older people. I mean, I think that's an important one to remember too, is that a lot of younger people are very kind of, quote, boring about in the things that they do. And maybe that's part of the way that, that they cope with some of the challenges in life, is that you create things that you do every day that give you security and a sense of direction and strength. But it's certainly not, something that just older people do. But we are, as you get older, least likely to do things. And there's all kinds of funny jokes about, going to bed at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock rather than midnight, turning down invitations to a party because you're just a little tired, or booking a spontaneous trip like, let's go to Venice this weekend, okay, you're more likely to say, I don't know, I'm a bit tired, or and you come up with an excuse. And it's not that you might be tired, genuinely tired, but you tend to shut out opportunities, I think, as you get a little bit older, and you just don't do things as spontaneously. And actually, I've decided after some things that happened over the holidays that I am no longer going to be planning like for 6 months in advance, because if things have to change, you get disappointed. I'm just going to be more spontaneous with my travel, and maybe my brain will create a new neural pathway for spontaneous travel, which I think is a cool thing to introduce into your life. More spontaneity. Do things, that, someone says, let's go to a party, or let's do this. Okay, like you would when you were 20. Remember that? Or kids are a perfect example. You can suggest anything to a child and they're like, yeah, let's do that. That sounds absolutely amazing. Let's do it. And they don't have any filters on limitations of like why you can't do that, or, why it's not, possible. So you can beat boredom. You can beat boredom because, in a way, it is a physical thing. It is a reality as you get older that you've got more comfortable. You've got into rhythms of doing things. Do you have rhythms? I'm just going to ask you, does anyone out there do like I do? Like, basically, I do my washing every Sunday. Does anybody else have a day of the week when they do their laundry? Or is there a day of the week when you always do your food shopping? Or is there a day of the week where you always make a call to someone? I'm betting that there are a lot of people out there like me that have certain days and times that they do certain things. So I think there's some things we can do. We don't have to be in this kind of groove of boredom. I think I saw a sign once. It says something like, "You're not really bored. You're just boring." So be less boring. Let's do things. Get out and meet new people. Join a club, join a meetup group. Come and join our 60andMe Patreon community and join us for calls every Monday and Wednesday. We do free live calls on our Patreon group. And, that's just 60andMe, but there's lots of organizations and groups that you can join. Get out there and meet new people. Try new things, even if it's just something simple like a knitting class. Nothing wrong with knitting, by the way. It doesn't have to be boring. You can make beautiful scarves and donate them to charities. You can volunteer. You can do all kinds of cool stuff. You do not have to be boring, not just in your mind. Because I think most of us are not boring in our minds. We're eager to be alive and grow and have fun. But in our bodies, I think we sometimes put barriers around, like, I'm too tired, or I'm just not up for it. Just don't feel like it. Feel like staying home. And then you miss out on really surprising serendipity and, just wondrous things that can happen to you. I think it can be really, really fun. So you can meet new people by just getting out and doing stuff and being open-minded. Even hang out with people who don't agree with you. Let's start a conversation here. And why? Why would we want to do all of this? Well, it makes our brains stronger. Yes, our brains, as I said earlier, are there to help us and keep us calm and safe, but it also gives our brain something new to talk about. And cognitive health is very important, we know, as we get a little bit older. We can meet new people. We can make new friends. How many of you are dealing right now with a situation where you don't actually have any friends close to you? You might have, really good girlfriends or men friends who are you've at a distance and you really like to talk with them and connect, but they're not there, in your city or your town. Well, just go out and meet new people. Let your passion and purpose for life, let your the beliefs that you have, the values, come to life. And there's actually, I did an article on this a while ago about the fact that if you do new things, you actually stretch time. Like when you see, I'm running out of time. Things are, moving too fast. If you do something new, it slows you down, and you get this sense that you are having more time to live and more time to enjoy life. It's really a fascinating sense. It actually is it trips your brain into thinking that time has slowed down. And maybe that's a good thing as well. So what can you do? What things can you do? Or first of all, do you think that you're a boring person? Do you think other people think you're boring? What things are you considering, or would you consider doing that would both change your own attitude about your own sort of lack of activity or boredom, and what others might think of older people? how can we push back on some of these aging stereotypes and you know, and show young people that we're not sitting here knitting all day, although I do knit and I'm no problem with knitting. You know, what do we do with our time that makes us exciting and interesting and worth, you know, connecting with and worth hanging out with? Anyway, thank you so much for being here today. I hope you found this useful. If you did do it, please like the video, because then it will be shared by our magical little robots at YouTube. And if you haven't joined this channel already and subscribed, please do that and press the notification bell, because that allows you to be told when new videos are being launched. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, I'm on YouTube. I do shorts. As well as these videos, I'm on Instagram and Twitter and Pinterest and also TikTok. And if you haven't come over to TikTok, come on over. There's only a few of us, over 70 there, but it's very cool. It's establishing some conversations with younger people, which I think is wonderful. So anyway, hope that you're doing well, everybody. Thank you for being here. Sending you lots and lots of love.